Hello everyone, part 2 of this little mermaid that's causing me headaches uh, because of the clay. I am going to sand her a bit in between layers after she's completely dry, of course, to make sure that I can work well. I had to get all these very white, grainy, gritty things out of the clay, but didn't work, of course. But you see me use different kinds of sanding paper, and this is a tool that they use for computers to sand or do something to the motherboard kind of things. But I use it to sand details. This is a bit of wire that I normally use to make hands, but with this clay it's impossible to do detailed work. So I'm making the spoon hands. So I'm shaping the clay in a kind of a spoon shape. And then I put her on a piece of glass so I can shape her even more. And then I take a knife or a piece of wire just to draw the fingers in the clay and then sculpt them with a brush. You can use any tool you like, but I like using brushes, you know. Now, that took me a while because it kept breaking off and wiggling, and all these white things that were in the clay kept coming in my fingers as well. I really didn't like that. So they appeared everywhere. You can see there are on her body, there are all white speckles. Now, the insides of the hands need a bit of attention to, and then I thought, okay, I'm going to leave it like that. I need to make sure that they are dry because they're so brittle and so fragile. So I just did a little bit more, put some nails in, and then I put some attention to, here's where the nails are going to go in. And then I called it quits for now, just to let it dry. And then I put some more clay on her arms to shape the arms a bit more, because you might think they were small, thin enough, but most of the time you just need to put more clay on to make it look even thinner. Sounds weird, but it's true. Now, there was a little piece of tape that was peeping out, so I had to cut that piece. And then I had to adjust everything again. So putting her on the glass again so I know how she was going to go. Now I did the other one that was even worse. You can see it, but it's still wet, so I have to dry it. Normally there will be shoulder blades, but I'm not going to do that because it's not going to show, because the hair is going to go over her back. So I'm drawing the mermaid's tail where it has to begin. And I decided to put little tiny pieces of clay on her whole tail. That took me ages. I did it on a dragon, and I really like the results, especially when I paint her. But this took me hours. So, and here it is, as if by magic the whole tail is done. I really like this. Now I'm going to put some clay on to make her rib cage stand out a bit more. You just put the clay underneath her breasts and just smear it and make it look as natural as you can. And sorry for the color, but it was late in the evening again. So I am doing that on the other side as well. And here you see me put the collarbones on. Because I decided not to give her a top or a bikini or shells or whatever. Just gonna leave it. I'm not gonna do the nipples. That would be too sexy, I think. Then I'm going to make her hair. I'm just taking some strands of clay and I'm putting it on her head. And you might think that looks very unnatural, but this is the way I like to do it. You'll see later why. Because each and every strand is going to be worked on. to make it look real like hair. But I'm going to show you here. I am finished. I just need to do a little piece, and this is how I do it. Just go in with my tool and then just take each and every strand and make it look like, well, real hair or something like that. So and because her hair is wet, it's stuck to her skin, so it's not voluptuous, but it's, you know. The tail, I didn't want to do the little tiny scales on her tail as well, so I'm taking strands of clay and to create a kind of a fish-like tail. And then I am nearly done. I'm glad that I'm nearly done, because I'm never going to do this with this clay again. Might not ever do it again. Takes a lot of time. Tail is done, lady is done, and she needs to dry completely before I can go along. But first I thought I needed to put her on a piece of rock, and she has to have a shell in her hand, so I'm making those typical, I'm calling it Hawaiian shell kind of things, well, the way I remember them. So just taking a piece of clay and turning it into a shell that will fit in her hand. And then you see me make her a pedestal, the rock that she's going to sit on. Just taking the clay that I've got left, turning it into a rock. And I'll show you a picture in the end for a few seconds the way it is now. And then for the final part I will paint her, so I will show that as well. So if you liked it, just leave me a message, and I might do something like this again. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do, but we'll see. With other clay, I've ordered my favorite clay again. So I hope you liked it, everyone, and I thank you for watching and leaving me a comment, and I will see you next time. This is her. I hope you like it, and I'll see you part 3. Bye bye.